It is January 31st, 2018. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and this is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. With us, as always, Mr. Raj Giri and special guest 2 weeks in a row, Matt Morgan, hanging out to talk SmackDown. Later, Shawn Daivari is going to be coming along, and we'll talk about the latest with SmackDown Live, with 205 Live, and the Mixed Match Challenge. Matt, how you doing today?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well, man. Doing well. So fresh to have your perspective on SmackDown for a change. What did you think of last night's show?
I liked it. I mean, we'll get into it, I'm sure, but I'm not. At first, I'm not a fan of Sami and KO, splitting up.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a fan of that, but obviously, I think it's just a tease where they'll come back together again. So the story between the two can really run its course, because this is going to be a long one between those two, and they're going to end up squaring off against each other at the end of it, way down the road.
Yeah, I think it seems like this is all a swerve. I don't know if they do like the finger poke of doom next week or something, but I just think they're so good together. I hope they don't split for a long time, just because, give it time to bake, give it time to cook, because they just got together in October. So it's been, a little over 3 months. So
the only thing is it's incredibly obvious it's going to be Sami. There's no way they're going to go with KO and AJ again.
Yeah, I think we could still end up with the Fatal 5-Way somehow at Fastlane. I mean, do you think the WWE, and I say this is a huge Sami Zayn mark, do you think they're going to have a headline for a pay-per-view be Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles?
It's a big step in making new stars, isn't it? And I think this guy's earned it.
I'd like to see it, but I'm guessing they're still going with the Fatal 5-Way, just without Nakamura.
Who will it be?
Probably Dolph.
Baron Corbin,
someone like that. Because you need guys that are going to get beat. Guys that'll take. Fatal 5. So is that one fall? I guess they could make it an elimination. I can't remember if they said it was an elimination or one fall.
Wouldn't that be weird after Elimination Chamber? We're going to do a Fatal 5-Way elimination match for the next
Yeah, I think I'm getting those confused. So real quick, guys. Ken Anderson couldn't make it today, but Shawn Daivari will be on in about a half an hour.
Awesome. So the show opened last night. Ronda Rousey on Sunday, not really played up or mentioned at all on SmackDown last night. But so Ronda Sunday, Asuka's win Sunday. The man who was somewhat overshadowed by the history of Sunday night, Shinsuke Nakamura, comes out last night to open the show. Vote of confidence, right? Talking about he's going to face AJ at WrestleMania. And setting up for later in the night a tag match between Shinsuke and AJ versus KO and Sami. So, Matt, how do you think they did last night in presenting Shinsuke? I mean, look, man, he got his initial push, kind of stumbled in there after that, the aftermath, but they're on the Nakamura train, it appears like now. How do you think he did last night?
You answered your own question. I think, how did he perform?
Yeah, how did he do?
He did. I thought he did fantastic. His work always speaks for itself, but I watched his comeback, his hot tag.
Yeah,
it's very different than everybody else's. If you guys go back and watch it, it's just completely different. It's still high energy, but it's not clothesline, shoot off, duck one, big boot to the face, go for an elbow. The guy moves, sells to the corner. He squishes him in the corner, sells out, sidewalk slam. It's the same comeback for so many other guys. He has his own thing, man, and I love it. I love this comeback. I love this fire. He's done a great job since he's actually improved. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's improved since he's gotten to WWE, learning the WWE way. It's just those promos and those weird faces that are still disconnecting with me a little bit.
I was just about to ask you about that, Matt, because I thought he was really good in the main event. I thought most of the show in the ring was good. I hated these freaking new graphics that kept popping up on the screen, and when they're talking and the letters are popping up in big block letters, it just felt very Nickelodeon. And when Nakamura came out, it says Rockstar on the screen. It just. But anyway, I just think Nakamura with his promos, I see he needs to. The whole thing he does. I love it when he's in the ring and going to the ring and all that, but when he does it in his promos, it just comes across. He looks wasted. He sounds like he's drunk, and it just comes across as awkward and not cool. And I just think they need to. I think he's a lot better like in NXT when he would do his promos when someone's asking him questions, short sound bites, keep it short and sweet. Or do it like the UFC where they do the video packages where they're sitting down talking to the camera and you just translate what they're saying.
That could have been a home run promo, the backstage vignette, okay, with him and AJ, if he just stuck to, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. If they just stuck to that and finished with that, he would have been great. But they had him do the stupid pointing stuff, the stupid thing with his eye. It completely ruined it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the opening promo was good, but the backstage thing about strategy, yeah, that was something, and all those graphics last night, man. So we talked about this on the pre-show. I was talking about this online. I feel like they commissioned a bunch of new graphics or they got some new hardware or something, and they're like, look what we can do. It was very obnoxious.
I hated it.
But it distracted from the obnoxious amount of pointing to that damn WrestleMania sign last night.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Their corporate, branding and stuff that they always feel like they need to do with pointing to the sign. And I don't know, I hope they don't move this to Raw. And I hope this was just an experiment with all the graphics appearing like during the promo. Because if you start doing that like during a Paul Heyman promo or when like Lesnar and Strowman are going at it, it just takes away,
Yeah.
Well, so we get the fanciness of that contrasted by these goddamn backstage camera phone promos. That Daniel Bryan thing last night where he's...
You know what I think this stems from? Is when Miz did that one promo in his car on Baron Corbin before Survivor Series, remember?
That was great.
It was awesome, but it was, it wasn't scripted. He was in his car just cutting this promo on his phone, and it got a ton of views online. And ever since then, I've noticed they've been starting to do those. And it's not the same. It's one thing to be cutting a promo because you don't have enough time, so you're doing it on your phone, as opposed to these contrived, walking while reading your promos. It just comes across as very, I don't know, very non-organic.
Yep. So we had a fatal four-way last night to crown a new number one contender to the WWE United States Championship. Kofi Kingston versus Jinder Mahal versus Rusev versus Zack Ryder. So Rusev won this. It's going to be him and Rude. Did they say next week?
Yeah.
Okay. So Matt, what did you think of the booking and the match itself?
Everyone wants Rusev to finally start getting his push, right? So
yeah.
I'm assuming people are happy with it. I'm not happy with it as a Bobby Roode fan, though.
Yeah.
What is that? That's going to kill Bobby.
Where do you think he is, though, right now? And obviously, look, Glorious is over with the crowd, but I feel like aside from that, and his in-ring work is great, but I feel like there's been a disconnect because they're trying to make him a face.
He is such a heel. It's not even funny. He would be I'm telling you right now, he'd be a top 2 heel on that show if they let him be a heel. All his promos, his swagger, all that stuff. I've never witnessed Bobby be a babyface ever, actually. I left TNA when he became one. You know what I mean? I've never seen him be one. Beer Money I saw, and that was well done. I take that back. But it's what you guys said. It's just, I don't know. They're forcing it too damn hard. He's on the intercontinental level, you know what I mean, that we talk about. But to get to the next level, they need him to be a heel.
Bobby Roode called Mojo Riley a few times, right? Or was it just once?
Didn't notice that.
Very noticeable last night.
Yeah, I didn't know if he legitimately doesn't know. Because, mistakes happen, but...
They just call it... Now, in fairness, they just call him Mojo 90% of the time.
I'm sure backstage he just calls him Mojo. So, the thing with Beer Money when they're baby faces is you had James Storm to play off of, and he's a great baby face.
Yeah.
Rude is such a natural heel. He just looks so out of place. This is, again, one of those things where I feel like they're sticking to it just because they did it, and they don't want to seem like they're wrong.
Right.
But he's way better as a heel, and they could use a good heel.
Do you think, though, there's a chance Rusev goes over and gets the U.S. belt this soon after Bobby got it?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's just a placeholder. They have a long time before their next pay-per-view. Their next pay-per-view is not till March. So they're going to have, I think they're going to do I don't know what they'll do with Sami and KO. If that's going to be a TV main event or if they're going to hold that off until Fastlane. Because, like we said, they had announced the 5-way for Fastlane. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it. Fastlane coming up in March. So we got the Fashion Files kind of back on TV last night. Of course, the Breezango and Ascension backstage, interrupted by Gable and Benjamin setting up a match for them later in the show. But before that happened, the Usos came out and cut a promo complete with graphics. That jail cell slamming effect. Matt, what did you think of their promo last night?
Okay. The cell door thing to close and slam. Yeah. It takes you out of it a little bit, but dude, they're so good.
Oh yeah.
God, they're good. They're very talented. I didn't know they got this good. They're really good. I love their promo. I loved it.
Yeah, I think them and KO are the best promos on SmackDown by far.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, I love their promo, but I hated the jail door slamming. I just think because it makes it seem so like it's planned, like they were sitting there waiting for them to say those lines, as opposed to making it seem like, could you imagine like Dusty Rhodes and his Hard Times promo and Hard Times keeps popping up on the screen when he says it? It would just be so bad. Let it.
So some fan, I want one of our fans out there to remix the Hard Times promo and put some current style WWE graphics and some text on the screen, some sound effects.
Now, man, the Usos, they got so much charisma. They're great.
Oh my God! Like, where do they even go from here? Top of the mountain, right?
It looks like the Bludgeon Brothers is where they're going next.
Yeah.
Those matches will be good.
They will. What's up with their outfits?
That's the thing.
They got to get rid of that, man.
What's up with the clubs that they? That was so. I laughed. I honestly laughed.
Yeah.
Like at first, I was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." It was all dark. These two huge monsters are walking out, and then the lights came on, and I saw this. I go, "What the? What are they wearing?"
It looks like trapeze artist outfits, like with the color with the red and the gray. Like they're out of the circus.
It looks like their parents made them Kane outfits for Halloween. Yeah.
Poor, what's his name? Harper. Poor Luke Harper.
Harper and Rowan are badasses on their own. They don't need to come out there with all the costume, So they went last night. What was that? Drew Gulak's brother was one of those guys?
Yeah.
Which one?
Rory. He was the bald guy. Yeah.
So of course the Bludgeon Brothers won that match. After that, we saw backstage Ty Dillinger. Nice making another appearance. He's fine after his beatdown. Baron Corbin walked in and knocked him. So man, I just feel bad that these guys. I don't think it's doing them favors when they keep showing up in segments together.
It doesn't. But what's his name was very comfortable. I thought finally.
Corbin.
No.
Ty.
Oh, Ty. Yeah.
Ty struck me as very comfortable in this promo, especially with Shane. That'll make that could make one nervous, being in a promo with the McMahon.
Yeah.
He handled it pretty well, I thought. He looked comfortable to me.
I agree with that.
So you know what he should have said?
Oh, what's that?
You know what he should have said though? When he talked about what did he say about can't you go away? And he was like, kind of like your what did he say? Your money in the money in the bank briefcase. He should have said and your hairline too. He totally should have said that.
I wonder if there's some sort of moratorium on being able to mention his hairline, because I don't think anyone has, right?
I bet you can't, because although maybe so, because wasn't he getting called out for being skinny fat for a while there?
He was addressing. I mean, Baron was addressing it on Twitter. It was that.
Cena called him, and I could have sworn both of them at different times.
I think Cena can get away with it, but they don't script it. They don't script these guys to make fun of Corbin's physique or his hair.
Okay, so let's talk about this promo last night. Ruby Riott, accompanied by Sarah Logan last night, and Liv Morgan, came out, and Charlotte was addressing the Asuka situation, and Ronda Rousey wasn't getting too into it, but she was talking to Renee Young.
What's interesting is that Ronda Rousey got booed. Her name being referenced got booed already. I think this is going to be one of those cases where shoving it down the throat, so fans are going to turn on it quick.
Which is weird, right? Because in 48 hours. In 48 hours.
Yeah, she hasn't even.
I like it, though. They love their women's wrestlers now. I like it.
So what did you think of Ruby Riott's promo last night, Matt? I don't know how you felt about the Riott Squad before, but let me just say that I thought last night when she came out and talked about Charlotte being entitled, she's known girls like her whole life. I thought this was the most of an angle we've ever gotten from Ruby Riott, and I connected with it. I thought it was really good.
There was a natural heat. You know what I mean? I believe, just like you, she's banging.
You kind of broke up there. You were saying
I believe she believed what she was saying. Therefore, it was good.
And I think, Raj, I want to get to your point in a second, but Ruby has, compared to the other women, a very unconventional look, right? And I think that with Sarah Logan especially, it's kind of the same. Liv Morgan kind of blows this up because Liv looks like a model. But I think that Ruby's angle and Sarah's angle of being like, look, we're not glam. We're not, the born into this business. We haven't had things handed to us. Being more regular girls, I actually think is a killer angle. And I think Ruby being about, I might not look like you, but I'm better than any of you in the ring. I think that's so much better than the nothing storyline they came in with.
I think I thought Ruby Riott's promo was good, but I just don't think she's ready yet for Charlotte. I felt like Charlotte came across as a much bigger star in this.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think the Riott Squad needs to break up. I just think they have no chemistry together. They just seem so random. They do. They got nothing. I think
completely different people, right?
Exactly. And I think Ruby Riott would be better served for her to be by herself. I mean, I think Sarah Logan would probably get hurt the most by splitting them up, but I just think Ruby Riott should be on her own. But yeah, that said, I think the promo is good, but I think have her feud one-on-one with someone else first. Have Charlotte be with someone with more experience for right now, and then you can get to that.
And Glenn, what you're talking about with Ruby, and you're saying how it's a direction, it's a storyline for her, talking the way you were saying. That's not a storyline. What you're insinuating, what you're suggesting, that's her and her character. That's for her when she gets a microphone to start doing on her own. That's her damn job. You know what I mean? Like when you get a microphone, that is your job to try to, you know what I mean? To try to get your persona over at all times, no matter what verbiage is given to you.
I thought it was great. I mean, because when she came in originally, it was just all the, I'm here to start a riot. I'm here to mess stuff up. But last night, it was like, I got who her character was in that short promo more than anything. And I think you could put her against any woman. Like Raj said, I don't think she's necessarily ready for Charlotte, but they need a placeholder feud. And if this can be used to establish Ruby more, more power to them.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't a Mania match, so I mean, for a placeholder for now, it helps Ruby Riott. So, but there's so many other women that they could do something in the meantime and get ready, Ruby Riott even more ready.
Well,
but
well, let's talk about this. Carmella last night, she's never really cashing this thing in, is she? What did you think of the almost cash in last night?
I mean, I like that they don't cash it in right away, though. You don't?
Yeah, 7 months now.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of builds, So I like the tease. I just hate when the referee is just holding a briefcase for like 2 minutes, Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's like, as soon as they hand it to you, that should just be it. But anyway.
Wait, what is this? What is this briefcase? What does this mean?
Right. I don't get what you're doing. What, you want me to do this? Anyway.
Yeah. So
outside of that, I thought it was pretty cleverly done.
Actually,
with the referee bump and leaving.
But it's kind of weird. That was the women's segment last night. I mean, that was it. Given everything that went down Sunday, and after that we had Ty Dillinger and Baron Corbin. Now again, like you were saying, Matt, backstage they built that up. But yeah, so Corbin won. Man, I just think these guys in a feud with each other doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't help either of them.
I think Ty should Ty should cut his hair, wear a suit, and kind of reinvent himself as a heel. He was doing some heelish stuff at the house shows last month, so I think he needs a change because he's going nowhere right now. The 10 thing can only get you so over,
But even his entrance, what he does in the ring when they announce his name, I don't know. I don't know what I'm missing. I think he presents himself like a star to me.
Oh, Ty, definitely.
I think he's got
body language. his isms, you know.
He's been doing this longer. I'm trying to think. I mean, aside from the vets, I mean, Ty has got to be tied for the guys that have been doing this the longest on SmackDown Live, right?
Definitely. I remember him getting, yeah.
You know, I mean, he's complete package. He has the gimmick that's over with the fans. They just have always booked him like, you know.
He is a little small, and that always hurts you in WWE. And
yeah.
That's why I always wonder about Adam Cole, because he's about Adam Cole size.
He was taller than AJ.
Yeah, but AJ's also a little thicker, you know? Like, he doesn't look, not scrawny, but skinny. And Ty's kind of got that skinny frame. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of, because otherwise I don't know why you wouldn't, you know, at least try with him.
Do you think there are guys, though, that they decide backstage, this is someone
that
keep
is
in the
what
company?
is rumored what it is. Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Supposedly the way it works now is, and I don't know this for sure, I just know this from some of the guys that have left, and I'll admit we're disgruntled about it, so maybe their opinion needs to be taken with a grain of salt with what I'm about to say. But they've said, multiple of them, that they figure you in to a certain level, and that's it, and there is no getting out of that box.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous if that's true.
Well, he's someone that's going to have a career, right? I mean, he now, correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't he done some stuff at the Performance Center in terms of helping out? I mean, isn't the idea that he's got job security, he'll probably go into a training capacity at some point? He's just not going to be a star, you know, in their eyes.
Oh, not just him, but others as well. Multiple other stars that have been released over the years. They've all said that you're penciled in this one area, this one box, and you can't get out of it.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the perfect example.
Man, this got to be so weird too. The idea
could you imagine if that happened in the Attitude Era? Could you imagine? Stone Cold would be a great hand and would be a ring technician, as he likes to refer to himself as.
Hey, the ringmaster, you know.
Could you seriously? It's ridiculous if they did it then.
Yeah. And even the Attitude Era, you didn't have many smaller guys pushed, even if they were talented, you know?
Yeah, but over, you know what I mean? But nowadays, over is over. You know, it should be, if you get over, you get an opportunity, right? Back then, in the Attitude Era, if you got over, you got an opportunity.
Yeah. Hey, Shawn, how's it going?
I've already. Jesus Christ, let me shake the cobwebs.
Oh. So professional, Daivari.
I know. You can't even tell I'm not wearing pants.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so we'll get back to talk to Shawn, and then we'll finish up the SmackDown review and talk a little bit about Ronda Rousey. Shawn, how's it going, man?
Good. What's new with you guys? That was a half hour already.
Yeah, no, that was perfect.
Oh, Daivari. What's up, dude?
You're chilling, listening to SmackDown.
Now you're
review.
Yeah. Listening to the SmackDown review podcast. Did you watch it last night?
Yeah. That was heavy implied sarcasm.
All right. So, Shawn, how's the wrestling school going? How's the wrestling academy with Ken Anderson?
Sorry, you broke up. What did you say?
How's the wrestling academy going?
It's good, man. It's kind of fun. Rolling into our second year. We've been open for like 13 months now. And like, there's a lot of little things that are just kind of picking up traction that we didn't, you know, we never had going on last. So we did a lot of marketing and like aggressive advertising and stuff. And now just like people are coming in from crazy different directions. And like, we're like, oh, that's weird. You're in South America. People from like out of town be like, oh yeah, you know, Tommy Dreamer sent us your way or this or that and stuff. So it's kind of cool now to just see that, you know, as you know, apparently known wrestling schools in the country.
You were breaking up a little bit there. Are you on Wi-Fi?
Let me go to a hardware connection.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
I could really quick. I could tell you what he said. He's really the second year's really taken off. They're getting their branding out there more. They're getting people sent to them from all different sorts of people. And their name is really out there now, where they're getting an influx of a hell of a lot of talent from all over the place. Basically, is what I got out of that.
Yeah, Matt, where did you train?
OVW. I was very lucky just to get my start with developmental right away.
Oh wow, okay.
Not that indie bullshit. No, I'm joking.
That had to. So there were probably a bunch of killers back then because they had I mean, OVW was stacked there for a while.
Brock Orton were just called up, and Batista and Cena were like on deck when I started.
Yeah, geez. I mean, that's an all-star class. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Let's keep going with SmackDown, then we'll get Shawn.
So he comes back
on.
Yeah.
So people really liked this promo that Bobby Roode cut on Rusev for the title match they're going to have next week.
I did, but again, I don't know if it's because we need to look at this from. I wonder if we should look at this, Raj, from like a general fan standpoint versus we know Bobby Roode. Like we feel like we know him personally, right? We know where he's best at, right? I wonder what like the 7-year-old in the audience thinks. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the glorious thing was clever on the calendar, but when you think as a 7-year-old fan looking at it, when he turns around and gives that cheesy smile, you think they're like, "Wow, that guy's awesome."
I don't know. I think it's impossible for me to look at this properly. I think it's impossible for me to, because I've always trumpeted this dude as being like the best. Honestly, he's one of the top 3 people I've ever shared a ring with. That's a hell of a statement as far as making me look better than I am.
Yeah.
As a heel.
Is that any better?
Much better.
Unfortunately.
Like, oh my God, you're so much uglier in high def. It's kind of like that. Let's come out in the bar and you're like, oh my God, that's what you look like.
Yeah, so Shawn, Nora lied to me, man.
Lied to me too.
Nora Molly Holly is one of the trainers at the Academy of Pro Wrestling in Minneapolis. So usually when people tell me something they don't want out, they'll say off the record or off the call, like, oh, it's not true, yada, yada, yada. So Molly Holly told me last week that there was no, that she hadn't been contacted about the Royal Rumble. And then, and that she learned about it from the internet and contacted WWE and they said it's not true. And then boom, there she is in the Royal Rumble.
So she worked me too. This is like, no one's ever thrown me a surprise birthday party before, but I think this is like the closest thing I can relate to that. And something, the lengths that she went to just to keep it a secret from me. Like she kind of knew, like her family doesn't really care. Her husband doesn't really care. She just knew it'd be something that I would enjoy. So when it actually happened, I wasn't even watching. If I knew she was on there, I would have watched the Rumble. It was kind of funny. I'm texting with my friend Evan. What's up?
What were I watched the footage of all your students watching it live and like going crazy and bumping in the ring and
Ken was there. Ken was at the academy and the kids were watching there and I was at home and that was Ken's girlfriend was actually recording them.
Oh, nice.
Excuse me, his wife now. His wife was recording it and so when I'm texting with my friend Evan and then he's going like he's like, oh, the girls are in and like something happened. He's like, man, some girls are just so uncoordinated. And I said, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like of all the female wrestlers I've ever met, like Nora's the only one that seems to have just this like hand-eye coordination that most women wrestlers don't have. And then he was like, yeah, she's doing really good. He was assuming I was watching the Rumble and she was in the ring. And then finally he goes like, holy shit. And I go, what? He goes, Molly killed Sasha. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then finally, then I put 2 and 2 together. Like, oh my God, that bitch worked me. But I mean, she really went like, even when it first happened, I was thinking, oh, maybe WWE read, Raj's website and was like, oh man, that's really bad that, everyone was talking about her and we didn't ask her. I thought maybe they booked her after your interview and stuff. But she didn't even, she was so afraid of being rusty in the ring. She goes, I didn't want to come to the academy to work out because I didn't want you to know that I was like preparing for something. So it was kind of cool, like in hindsight, the lengths that she went to like, make this a nice little surprise for me. I fucking missed it.
So was she working in the ring? Like, did she tell you later?
No, she'd been gone she was on vacation in Florida for a couple of weeks and then she was home and then she had about, I guess this week to do, or, this past 7 days to do it. And she never came through. She never mentioned it. And she said, oh, yeah, I'll happily do the Wrestling Inc. interview for you. And then she did it and said she's not in it. So I really thought that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, so when we were emailing me, she was saying she wants to if she would have known, she would have practiced taking bumps and tanned and all this stuff. And just like,
you look great though. Holy shit.
No, she looked awesome. That's why I was shocked that she hadn't been working.
All jacked, and she looked great. And
yeah, I wonder if when she was in Florida for that vacation, if she was stopping by the Performance Center.
No, I don't think. No, she wasn't even in Orlando. But I mean, like she's a natural. Like, she doesn't need. I mean, you saw her. She came in there, blew a little comeback, and did the spot. Like even the girls that were there working more recently were kind of rushing things with her a little bit.
Definitely were. They definitely were.
I mean,
really quick, Daivari. Yeah. Who, if you don't mind, who are your top right now? Who is your top up and comers out of your school that if you could see the future, one day possibly be in WWE?
It's so hard.
How about this? Making a living where no other job is being worked.
I'll tell you why it's hard to tell, Matt, because the most experienced guy I have is like 1 year in. So you never know when they're going to plateau.
Yeah.
As far as if they keep learning at this pace, I have about 3 or 4 of them that could. But how many guys that have been on the job for like 10 years, but they're about 3-4 years good and they just never get any better?
100% right.
So yeah, you're really right. Or how many guys that are just like shit sandwiches forever and then one day it just clicks and they're off into the races?
Yeah, very true.
Really impossible. It's like, if you know the deal. There's a formula to do this. WWE would be making John Cena's and Roman Reigns left and right, but there isn't. You never know.
Yeah.
And so we had Molly Holly in the Rumble, who one of the trainers at the Academy, and then you got Billy Gunn coming up. Billy Gunn was on Raw 25. This guy, man, he does not age. He's looks like
he's the real life Benjamin Button, man. Like every year he gets older, he looks better. He's more jacked.
Yeah. I mean, you look at DX, and he looks the same as back then.
Yeah, and a cool thing too is I've always been a big Billy Gunn fan, but I never got to work with him. When we were in WWE together, he was on SmackDown, I was on Raw for like my first year, and then he got let go. And then when I got to TNA, it was the first time I actually got to like get in the ring and work. And even then, the pay-per-views used to be separate, so I would see him like 3 times a year, like when SmackDown and Raw would have like a joint pay-per-view. But when I got to TNA, we got to work a lot, and I learned like he was a guy that helped me break through like that plateau we were just talking about. I was right about when I got to TNA, I think I was maybe like 7 or 8 years in the business, and I was plateaued for a while, and he was a guy that helped me break through that with a lot of little things that, at WWE, unless you're in the main event, no one's really more experienced than you. Everybody's kind of been around, but then that was time where I got to work on house shows with like a 15-year veteran every night, and he picked up so many little things that nobody else could ever point out to me.
One of the things, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
One of the things, Shawn, that he's gonna, I guarantee he's gonna teach your kids about is the importance of bumping and feeding and a babyface's comeback, and the rhythm of it as well. Because nobody did it better. Nobody did it better than him. This dude's 6'6", 280 pounds, and jacked. He came to my commissioner election when I won my election, and we got sworn in, and we're taking photos together. I'm like, dude, I don't want to stand next to you. Like, you're embarrassing me. Like, he's humongous.
You already won. Now's the time where you can look back.
He's huge.
Oh my God.
He's massive. I don't know how old he is. I want to say he's in his late 40s or early 50s. And
I honestly think he's 54. I think he's 54.
No, are you serious? 54?
Swear to Christ.
And he's been
54. He said it on Stone.
From the mid-90s to the early 2000s, when WWS had the busiest schedule, he was bumping every night for 30 years now, and he can still do it. Like I've been on the job 18 years. I haven't had nearly as many matches. I can barely walk. I use a cane half the time.
Yeah. If I had to guess, like looking at him, I would say like he was early 40s, like maybe 41, 42, somewhere in there.
I think Matt was right. I think he was.
No, he's 54.
Good God, that's crazy. So he's doing this training seminar at the Academy. He'll be a guest trainer on Monday, February 19th.
Yes, sir.
Coming up in a couple weeks. There'll be 2 seminars, one from 6:30 to 8:30 for those who have had 0 to 20 pro wrestling matches. And then after that, 8:30 to 10:30 will be the second for people that have had 20 plus. And you can register at the academyprowrestling.com/Billy. Yeah. So what are these seminars like? What do people do when they go to these?
Favorite thing we do at the Academy, because like we usually have people that we've yet to bring in someone who's like a complete stranger. It's always like people we know, our friends and stuff. Right. And when you become friends with someone, like me and Matt have been friends since 2004. Like, how much do we ever talk about wrestling? We never talk about it. We talk about life. He tells me about his wife, his kids, whatever. But now it's like, this is a thing where I get to just sit back and be a fly on the wall and listen to my friends talk about wrestling. And I go, oh, wow, I never knew they see things that way. Or I never, like Mickie James came in for us. And especially with like female wrestlers, we really never talk about wrestling. And just listen to what her philosophy and the way she thinks of like a cover and a kick out, hearing her break that down. I was like, wow, this conversation will never come up in the past, hasn't come up in the past 15 years and it won't come up in the next 15. But I'm so glad I got to see the importance of a good cover and a good kick out to Mickie James, for example. And just that's so much fun for me. And another thing is, it's just started happening. We probably should market it better this way, but if you're just a fan, it's not a bad thing just to participate in. Like there was the last time someone came through and said, I don't even want to get in the ring. I just want to hear what X-Pac has to say. And I come, I said, sure. And it was he said it was like so much better than any autograph signing or convention he went to, because he just got to sit there and listen. There's a forum to ask questions, or, you know, if you've ever been to a signing and a fucking Mark asks too many questions, like, all right, buddy, move along. Like you're holding the line. You know, but it was great for them. I never even thought about that.
Yeah. You know, your brother Arya, obviously a star in the cruiserweight division. I don't know if you watched it last night, but they're revamping it a little bit. They got Rockstar Spud. Rockstar Spud in as the GM. They're bringing it. Roderick Strong is joining the cruiserweight division. What are your thoughts on where the division's at?
Well, I mean, right now, I asked my brother yesterday. He was just telling me what was on the show because I was training at the academy. And I said, are they kind of like rebooting it right now? He said, no one's officially said anything, but he says it does feel like, you know, when they started, they said, hey, we're going to put more emphasis on character development and stuff than like the Cruiserweight Classic they did that summer. And he says it just kind of feels like the way the show is formatted. He goes, this felt the most wrestling heavy thing we've ever done, but also Royal Rumble is the beginning of the chapter book to WrestleMania, so it could just be that's going on. But yeah, it looks like it. I think Spud's a great idea. Like I didn't even think about him. And I was like, when my brother said that he was the GM, I was like, oh my god, that's a great idea. Like I completely forgot he's under contract.
Dude, he killed it last night too, man.
He would too. I'm going to my head. I'm like, maybe like, you know, Hurricane will come back and do it. And then I was like, what about Rey Mysterio? Well, no, he's way too big of a star to be on 205 Live as a non-wrestling figure. You know, like I couldn't think of anyone that would be a good fit. And then that wasn't a thought in my head. And as soon as I heard it, I said, perfect. That's a guy who can do that job perfectly and do it good enough where he will be the GM. He won't be the focal point. And if he gets a bit and says, hey, we need you to do blah, 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 he won't turn it into the Spud show, I feel.
And he's got a new name, Drake Maverick, which
the fans didn't like that part.
Yeah, they'll get used to it. I remember when like Finn Balor, right? No one liked that name at first, or Hideo Itami, but you know, you get used to it after a while.
That's true.
I wonder why they care so much. Like it's not even like a
right.
I mean, it kind of felt like they did it for a while. Like all those guys came into NXT and they kept their actual like independent names. I wonder why. Certain circumstances it's a big deal. In certain circumstances it isn't.
Yeah, especially because when I hear Drake Maverick, I think of like a big guy, like a big athletic dude. I don't know. It just doesn't like fit like Rockstar Spud. I think maybe it's just years of hearing Rockstar Spud and him doing comedy.
I mean, if you think about it, fucking Spud's a pretty retarded name too, so I can't. But you're right. It has a nice ring. What the fuck's a Spud? Like a potato?
Yeah. I don't think Vince sees it, this charismatic British guy coming in there, and Spud, I mean, that just doesn't fit how they're in some. But Drake Maverick sounds like the fakest of fake names.
Everything, it does sound like a porn star name a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the George Costanza. What was his porn star name?
Buck Naked.
But
Correct.
It's got that kind of sound to it.
It's one of those, I never really understood that protecting your IP thing, because without your machine behind it, your IP is worthless. You know, like what the fuck is a TiVo? What's a Pepsi? Like it was nothing until you made it something. But if you don't have a Pepsi label on a bottle of soda, the name Pepsi is worthless to you. If I have the name Drake Maverick, but I don't have the talent who's associated with, what's it worth to WWE?
And, you know, sometimes it backfires too, right? Because, you know, if Nash and Hall went to WCW as Diesel and Razor, it wouldn't have been nearly as effective as them just kind of being themselves and getting rid of those gimmicks. So.
I remember like I was really happy when I started with WWE and they let me use my actual name. And I got to TNA and I was like, oh, this is exactly what I was thinking all along. I could be Daivari. And I got there. And then I did it for like 3 months. And then all of a sudden one day, like, hey, your new name is Sheik Abdul Bashir. I go, why? And they go, well, we can't own Daivari. Like, well, but I know you can't, but you've done it for the last 3 months. And if you don't have me, what is that name to you guys?
Right. Yeah. I could understand certain occasions, especially if it's a character you create like Undertaker or Kane.
That's an IP.
You know, that's one thing.
But then
character, it's a look, it's a everything, but just the name.
But then here, okay,
right.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, on purpose.
Lost Raj and Daivari. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can hear me?
Yep.
Can't you read lips?
Yeah. Really quick. Here's what I don't understand.
Right. And plus, they let like Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander and all these other guys keep it. So it's just very random.
It's
Roderick's, you know,
whatever cup of coffee they had that day is what they feel.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Whatever WWE does is what WWE does is kind of reflective of the industry, and I really felt that a lot, especially at TNA. Like I don't remember what happened, but when they came up to me one day and said, "Oh, your name is not Daivari anymore," this and that, I don't remember what was going on. But I felt like it was a knee-jerk reaction to something WWE was doing with.
Bro, I'll tell you what you were doing. You were preventing me from going and punching Booker T in his mouth. You remember that?
I do. No, I don't remember stopping you, but I remember the heat. Did I actually stop you? How did I stop you?
You talked me down off the ledge. I was telling Russo to get the camera ready, and I go,
"Oh, really? I do not remember that at all. Man, I should let you go. That was so much more fun for me to watch."
Because you were teaching me, and you're waiting me for the record. You were telling me.
Wait. What did you say? You were what?
You were teaching me how I need to look at this as a business and not take it so personal. That Booker was making a business decision. You know what I mean?
Real quick, Matt, real quick, explain to the listeners what happened with
Booker. Didn't want to put me over, and in his defense, looking back, he was 100% right. He has his own brand to protect, his identity to protect, his future to protect, and TNA gave him like no heads up, and he was going to have like a 3-minute match with me, unadvertised, because at the time I was going through each main event Mafia member one by one, and Booker was up next, and he was the only one who had a problem putting me over. But again, they gave no advance notice, no advertisement for it. And I understand it now, but then I was still a little bit younger in the biz, I guess, and I didn't understand it as much. I took it very personal. And I was offended by it because I thought me and Booker were friends. Shawn was like, dude, it has nothing to do with being friends. You know, this is him looking out for his brand, nothing more. You got to treat this like a business and nothing extra. And it made sense.
I don't remember all the details. I just remember thinking about it. It was like
we're by the trailers.
The presentation was terrible. Man, I really don't remember that. I do remember a lot of like little things that we've done, but for some reason that sounds like a really fun one. I wish I remember, but I don't remember. I had for breakfast. It was like 10 minutes ago. But no, like as you say it right now, if that like I remember, there's just the presentation is everything. Like you don't. I remember one time we were sitting, me and Kevin Nash were sitting in his locker room, like it's separate from where everybody else would change. Yeah. And Simon Diamond came in. He goes, "Hey, Kev, we need you in the ring in 5 minutes. You go over your promo." And then he just starts walking out the room, and Kev goes, "Oh, hold on. Come back here." And then, like, I just remember that was something I saw. I was like, dude, presentation is everything. If you came up to them and go, "Hey, Kevin, how's it going? How's your day?" "Oh, fuck, my wife left me. My dog died, and my bags got lost at the airport." You would present that a different way, but the way that was all set up. I just remember as he was walking out the room, Kevin was like, "Oh, hold up." I was like, "Ooh, it's gonna get good."
Wait, why was Kevin upset? I didn't
just the way
because he was talked to. There's like there's some.
I mean, Kevin Nash is probably more than anybody there at TNA. The one thing he does better than anything is talk. Yeah. And for someone to come in and be like, "Hey, we need you in the ring to practice your promo."
Oh, gotcha.
No.
Hey, rookie. Hey, Greenhorn. We need you to go over this because you're gonna fuck up both lines.
Yeah. So Simon Diamond, he was an agent at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember somewhat of the situation with Matt's deal was we were in Europe. It was a horrible tour as far as logistics. We were all dead tired. It was the last day. We were in Switzerland. The show almost had a riot. Booker's wife almost got pelted with glass beer bottles at ringside. Like that was the day that this was presented to him. And I that probably had so much more. And just now Matt saying I had no idea. It was in 3 minutes on a go-home TV for a pay-per-view, which I'm sure Booker had a match on the pay-per-view that he had to be concerned about. Like, of course he's gonna. That could have waited till Booker got to Orlando and the office could have been like, hey, Book, so we have Matt going through all the main event mafias. 3 weeks ago, we killed this guy. 2 weeks ago, we killed that guy. This week, it's you. What can we do to make Matt look good? And then let Booker present that, and they probably would have got the exact same result.
It's a good call. And that was one of my first ones, so I was still new to it myself, and I took it so personal.
I mean, you could, because it was as much as he took it personal that he didn't want to do that. You should have taken it personal that was fucking up your plans too. But I'm glad you didn't get in a fight with him. I can't believe I talked you out of that. I would love to watch something like that. I would have got my giant wooden spoon and stirred that pot so good.
Yeah, that's funny. So Shawn, does he with his schedule, is he able to go to the academy a lot?
Not a lot, but as you know, way more actually than I thought he would. Like, you know, he has one of the stiffest schedules because the cruiserweights have to do both TVs, which is terrible. But some days, or some weeks, I should say, there's 3. There's a live pay-per-view on Sunday, live Raw on Monday, live SmackDown Tuesday. That's 3 16-hour days in a row, 300 miles apart. Like, it is grueling. And on Wednesday, he'll land home, literally die in his bed, wake up at 5 p.m. and come to the academy. And like, I always tell him, like, dude, we're open Thursday. Like, you don't have to come today. But some days he's up for it. Some days he wants to try out new things. But a lot of the guys that are getting better now, like I said, we've been open for 13 months. This is the really fun part now, is guys are no longer learning arithmetic. Now it's time to teach them algebra.
Yeah, so they fly all the cruiserweights out to Raw every week, right? Even though they only use a handful, if that. So I think this last Monday they didn't use any.
There's sometimes a match on Raw, but then sometimes they work on main event too.
Right. Yeah. Well, great shot. Well, hey, Shawn, thanks so much for joining us. Tell people how they can sign up for the Billy Gunn seminar and how they can sign up for the Academy.
Yeah, absolutely. So this Friday is actually the beginning of our 5th class, I want to say. Yeah, our 5th class is this Friday, February 2nd. We're down to just a few spots left for that one, but we have them every 90 days, every 4 months or so, we have a new class. And then on the February 19th, like you said, we have the Billy Gunn seminar. They can go to theacademyprowrestling.com, and on there has all the information you would need if you want to contact us, ask us questions directly, or you can register for the seminar or for our next class or anything. It's something that, like I always say, like, if you ever thought about doing this, whether it's the seminar or wrestling or whatever, just get as much information as you can. Email us, ask us a million questions, then email Dreamer and Bubba in New York, and then email T-Bon in Florida, and then email Danny Davis in Louisville. Like, ask as many questions as you want. Contact Dinsmore in South Dakota and Lance in Canada, and then figure out which one works best for you, because it's not a one-size-fit-all thing.
True.
All right, great. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Shawn. It's always great having you on.
Thank you very much for having me. I love you, Matt. I hope to see you soon.
Love you too, buddy.
Bye.
Take care, man.
So they did announce a 205 Live last night. In addition to Mr. Maverick as the new GM, we're going to have another Cruiserweight tournament, and it's going to be on 205 Live, and the final match will be at WrestleMania. So they're not – Matt, I know you said the other night, what you'd heard rumblings were Vince saying, can't we just kill it? At least they're giving it a shot.
I swear to you, that's what I'm telling you, a lot of people said. How good did Spud do selling that, by the way?
It was good.
His voice, his inflection, just everything. He's so damn good. I'm a huge fan of his. Good. Obviously, what else? I mean, what's to really talk about? Of course, there needs to be a tournament. There's no champion, right? So This is good news for. I think this is the last legs. I think we're safe saying, right? Something needs to happen.
Yeah, if it doesn't take off this time, and I want this division to do well, but taping it after SmackDown in that arena, it just is killing it. And until they change that, you're going to have the same problems.
Could you imagine if they would have dropped some money to get Ray to do one more date last night? And no, seriously, to end, he doesn't have to be in the tournament, but to end the Royal Rumble weekend on a high note, because we had this crowd that was there after SmackDown, Mixed Match Challenge, and then 205 Live, and just the wind is out of the sails. If you don't have a hot crowd, the audience.
Wait! You're saying to have Ray on 205 Live?
Have him do a one-off appearance. You
do it on Raw, then. You don't do it on 205 Live. Ray's a big star.
Yes, he is.
He's not going to agree to do that. He's not going to agree to do.
Hope he doesn't watch this show.
Hey, if you pay him enough.
No, he's not going to do a one-off on job to Drew Gulak on 205 Live to
I'm not saying yes to
wake
job,
the crowd up.
but I'm saying like, look, why did the Cruiserweight Classic succeed where 205 Live has failed? Part of the reason was the Full Sail crowd and that energy. If you get people pumped and the crowd at home watches it and sees that the crowd there is excited about it, it translates. So we're going to have the Cruiserweight Classic into a dead crowd with just that through SmackDown and the Mixed Match Challenge.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Bring in Ray for a one-off is not going to do anything for it. It's a long-term problem. Look, if you got it going, you got it hot, and then you got a network deal or something, and then you could put guys like Ray on, guys that are big stars, but you don't waste big stars when you could have them on Raw where they'll matter, or SmackDown where you have millions of people watching as opposed to maybe hundreds of thousands.
You're right.
They got to do something to wake it up, just to get people excited and interested. I mean, I've been to SmackDown tapings, and I'm telling you, there are conversations around you for people like, well, I could be home that much sooner. It's like the dark matches they're doing after 205 Live are kind of nothing.
Well, a start would be you get them out of there. Do it at Full Sail when you tape NXT. Just tape it. Forget calling it 205 Live. If you're worried about the tagline live, call it 205 205 High or something. Something else if that's what you're concerned about. But this is doing, or just merge it into NXT. And have us cruiserweight title. They only have one title anyway for the singles. So
well, and we got guys from the UK showing up last night. What was it? The tournament's going to happen. Maybe we'll get some surprise appearances.
What guys? Wait, hang on. What guys from the UK?
Who was
Tyler Bate was on last night.
Yeah, Tyler.
He lost to TJP.
That must have been a really good match. Actually.
It was really good. Yeah, I thought the matches were good last night.
I love Tyler Bate. I love him.
The quality of wrestling has never been an issue in 205 Live.
It was better last night. They got more time. They didn't feel as rushed. But that crowd, again, like you watch a Tyler Bate match in NXT, and then you watch it on 205 Live. In NXT, it's hot, and the crowd's going at it. But this, it was it was all right as far as the crowd went. But the match was very good. Cedric Alexander and Grand Metalik was very good. With Cedric getting the win there.
So back to SmackDown, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus Breezango in a match that was surprisingly competitive before Benjamin and Gable won. I couldn't tell. Matt, is this Benjamin and Gable on their way down? Is this Breezango getting something again? I couldn't tell from the booking how people stand on this match.
They won. They won the match, though. What do you mean?
Yeah, they won.
No.
But I mean, putting them in. Yeah, but if they're going to be a feud, are they going to be a feud with Breezango? I mean, where else is there for them to go at this point?
Yeah, no one knows. It's just sometimes they just have matches for the sake of having matches.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Just to get them on TV. That was a big thing when I was there. Was like, you want to be on TV, in any form or fashion. I know, like someone like Jim Cornette would disagree with that. And would tell me it's important that when you are on TV, you have something that's presentable, and that's the stuff that helps you get over. Not just being on TV for the sake of being on TV, but WWE does think differently, and they believe that any TV time is good TV time, and they're trying to establish this other tag team, Shelton and Gable, and so that's just a match. Sometimes you just have matches to win a match and get a guy their wins.
Yeah, it didn't seem like anything was really coming of it. It was just there to get Gable and Benjamin a win after they lost last night, because they are, and really realistically, they're the number 3 tag team right now on the brand. So
who's 2?
New Day.
Oh, that's right. Was New Day even on other than Kofi doing his thing?
Oh,
just in that fatal 4-way, just Kofi.
But they really dominated that, having both of them outside the ring.
They usually do.
Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about the main event: AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn last night. We talked about this earlier, teasing some fractures between Zayn and Owens.
Yeah.
Nakamura and Styles got the win, but okay, so TV time being what it is and putting them in the main event being something, but Matt, do you think there's an issue when it's the same guys in this segment? I mean, are we going to see variations of these 4 building up to Fastlane where potentially they could all be in the main event at Fastlane? How do you keep it fresh and interesting when it's the same squad each time.
I think it's fresh, just being Sami Zayn alone. I really do.
Yeah.
Again, guys, it's a SmackDown pay-per-view. You always say how it's the B show, so they're always going to be treated a certain way, right? So then you know what? Then why not take a chance with Sami? This is the time to do it.
He's been on fire, and I thought his promo at the end of the show was the only promo on the show that felt organic and didn't feel scripted. I thought Kevin Owens was just great at rings. I'd love for them to mic him up because the smack that he's talking like during a match is just
it's
fantastic.
It's the best.
But the problem I have is that Owens and Sami, it feels like they're in the main event of every SmackDown. I mean, since they got together, I think maybe 2, maybe 3 episodes where they haven't been involved in the main event, and they really need to freshen up the top. And I think having Sami against AJ, I'm all for that, but also mixing it up so they're not in the main event every single week. I think Raw, you have Roman sometimes and you have Braun sometimes. You have more of a mix, whereas SmackDown you don't.
Well, next week, Sami versus Kevin singles match. Winner goes on to face AJ.
You think they do a finger poke of doom, like it's just a ruse, or you think they have a real match?
I think they have a real. I didn't think of finger point of doom until you said it. So now I don't know. I thought it was going to be a real match, honestly, but then putting some shenanigans in there, I don't know. I really don't know. That's what I think is pretty cool about it.
Yeah. We'll see, man. So immediately after that last night, went to the Mixed Match Challenge where Sami Zayn teamed with Becky Lynch against Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman. Sami and Becky over with the crowd, but not as over as I would have thought given online how much love you see for them. But Matt, I had to reconcile this last night. We talked about Braun Strowman and the way he's acting with Alexa Bliss. I had to kind of say, like, this is, to pull something from the comics, this is alternate Earth Braun Strowman. This is not the same guy we see Monday nights on Raw. With the way he was acting towards Alexa after that match.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Not a good idea. And it's a shame. And it's weird because I tell you guys, 10 out of 10 other times I would tell you, any opportunity we get to be ourselves, but ramped up is always going to be good, right? Here's one where it's just not, and that's not a knock on Braun. I love him to death. It's just he is to be booked incredibly delicately, very specific, and you can't. Bigger guys is just how it is. That's why everyone thinks it's easier to be a bigger guy in the business. It's not. It's much harder, actually, because everything we do that's not great stands out like a deer in the headlights. It just does.
He was blushing last night. He was blushing at the end of that when Alexa was talking about we're going all the way.
That's bad. I don't like it.
I agree. I think it's fine to do it down the road when you need to mix up his character a little bit. But right now, when you have him almost murdering people on a weekly basis, and then he's blushing, then he almost murdered Kane, and then he's blushing the next night. So, there's so many people you could have put in that Braun Strowman spot. I just don't. There are certain characters you protect. Undertaker, you shouldn't be doing that. Like if he was blushing with Trish back in the day. So I just don't like it. But it was entertaining. But I just feel like the timing it's just not the right time to be doing it.
You're right.
Yeah.
But that being said, last night was the State of the Union, so I'm sure SmackDown viewership is going to get hurt. But I thought with Braun being on that the viewership at least would not drop from the week before or just a little bit. But it peaked live at around 62,400 live viewers. So it was a big drop. It was 32% from last week, over 50% from the premiere.
Wow.
So it's this concept's dying.
I'll be honest. Social media wise, I don't know what I'm missing, but Facebook's like what old people go to.
Yeah.
Like Instagram is usually, I know member wise, whatever you want to call it. Facebook has more. I get that, but it's been around longer as well. But Instagram, Twitter, those are the ones that people go that our generation go to more, in my opinion.
Well, thank God it's not on Snapchat.
Well, so I don't get why they picked this Facebook stuff.
Because Facebook has more money than God at this point.
I mean, they own Instagram, so I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to. Facebook is actually said to be in the pool of networks looking to get Raw.
Right.
Now, I think you look with these numbers because live viewing is what matters. Because by the end, like last week's episode had 1.7 million, the week before at 1.9. But that's just people clicking. It could be watching 2 seconds. It could be the whole show. You don't know. The value is in the live viewing with sports and things like that. And with live viewership, if you're only getting under 100,000 viewers for a show that you're pushing, across both your flagship shows,
Well, Raj, let me ask you this then. How does this work? I mean, because I see it I wait to see it like the next day. I don't watch it on Facebook or whatever. Is it come up on people's feeds? If you're a Facebook member, does it come up on your live feed?
I do is I go directly, but I think if you have if you follow it, it'll come up.
Okay.
So you can watch on your phone. There's a watch when you're on Facebook. There's a watch button, but yeah, you'll get an alert. So
here's my concern with that. I'm telling you right now, I think more people in our generation are checking their Instagram and Twitter feeds than they are Facebook. I think Facebook's now third of what you'll go check. It is for me.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's a good experiment. Peter's mentioning that too. I think it's a good experiment to try to see what kind of numbers you're getting, because eventually down the road, when everything is turning to streaming, you got this experiment, you know what it did, and
that's true.
Worth doing for a show down the road. But definitely, you don't want to move Raw to this. You don't want, even if they offer more money, you don't want to move your flagship shows to this.
Not until people are used to watching long-form content on Facebook. I mean, the way it is now, you have to go to a separate section of the app. If you have an Apple TV or a Roku, there's a Facebook video.
But even then, things like the Super Bowl, there's all these events that are streamed live that get far fewer viewership than on TV. So until the numbers start evening up, you don't want to lose those. You don't want to lose your audience when they're already losing it. What's that?
Social media is a very difficult thing to track properly into equating into dollars. Nobody has a real firm fix on it yet. Everyone thinks they do, but it's like what you said earlier. How do you know somebody's there for a minute versus the whole show?
Right. Yeah.
And the other thing is we got to give them credit though at the same time, because they are trying something new and they are thinking outside the box. And that usually, in my opinion, I'll always say this, will lead to, if this one sucks, it's going to lead to a better idea down the road with something else.
Yeah.
Because of this experiment.
Now, did you guys? We don't usually talk about the Raw ratings that much on here, but
what were they?
I was surprised at how low it was. It was overall, it was 3.395 million. So last week for Raw 25, they did 4.5 million, but that was expected. That was expected to be the highest rated Raw of the year. But this 3.35, if you take the Raw 25 rating out, the week before it did 3.25.
Yeah.
So the post-Rumble episode is almost always the second highest rated of the year. And then this year you had all the Ronda Rousey hype. This was the first episode after the XFL announcement. So it felt like you had all this buzz heading into last night's episode, and the first hour only did 3.4 million viewers. And these are numbers, 3.4. That's what they were doing in August before football season started. So I thought it was a really bad number considering it's after the Rumble. And with all the Ronda Rousey hype and the XFL stuff. So, and it fell to 3 million by the third hour. So people weren't sticking with it. Kind of what you were talking about, Matt, the other night about, Cena being the big star, but,
where's
his
the number?
match. Yeah, the match, it was only 3 million by the end. So it went from, granted, the drop is not as big as other weeks. It was 9%. And lately it's been like 15 to 20. But still. I don't think they could be happy with that, with all the Rousey hype.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, all you can really look at is trends. You can't really look at. I know our boy V-Ru likes to look at the bottom line numbers, and you can't do that. You can't do that in today's wrestling. You just can't. Nobody watches live TV anymore. Nobody does.
But last week did 4.5 million.
Right, that's great. But that's what I mean by trends. We can look at the trends. You can look at the percentage of drops, like you were talking about earlier. And we can still find ways to gauge their success, like you just did.
Yeah. I think
that's a bad number because you see what the potential audience is. I think WWE blew it last week by not doing stuff that would get people to stick around for next week. They did a lot of one-off stuff on that Raw 25, but nothing that gets you sucked in.
What would you have done?
Weeks. You could have first with Taker and Cena. You could have had Cena come out later and call out Taker and say next week or at the Royal Rumble, I'll see you or something.
That's it right there. Yeah.
Just stuff like that. You could have had
that's true.
You could build some big angle between whoever, something leading to Mania. I just think there's a ton of stuff you could have done. And
do you do that though? I mean, they're obviously not happy with that. I mean, I'm assuming they assumed Ronda was going to get them a number.
Yeah.
Well, and now is there a backlash? I mean, we've seen the talent going on Twitter, some of the other women being snarky about it.
I don't think they'll talk about rate. Am I wrong? Has somebody done that? Have they talked about ratings?
Nikki, not about the ratings, but about Ronda.
Right, I remember that, but I don't think they'll ever specifically say.
No.
I think Emma made some snarky comment once that the rating was low because she wasn't on, but normally ratings is something they don't touch.
Yeah. Because they're picking. This is a renegotiation year. This is when they're trying to get a new TV deal. So
but Ronda, I don't know. I mean, maybe she's not as big of a draw as they're banking on. I mean, 2 years ago is a lot different. Her star versus now.
We'll see. I mean, it got a ton of media, but the media didn't translate to viewers because that first hour should have been really big.
Yeah.
Just people, waiting to see if she's coming on. But it was just a normal first hour. So I don't know. I think Ronda, there's a Yahoo Sports article where they said, what if she sucks at wrestling? And that's a big thing because, the fans are not going to be that patient with her. And they see her taking these spots from the people that they like, from the Baileys and the Sashas. And
can I say something? If that's the case, doesn't that show then, Raj, counter to your point the other night, that they are emotionally investing in our women wrestlers, so therefore they do have characters?
I think the fans
relatable.
I think the fans are. I think WWE is not doing enough to give them separate storylines. But I definitely think the fans, are into a lot of the women for sure. I just think there's more they could do with them. A lot, and you saw that. You saw that Monday.
Yeah. Well, I think the people that love the women's division, when we talk about the characters, I mean, these are women that we've been following for years now in some cases with NXT. The people you read what they write on social media. I don't think it's their main roster that's established who their character is and why people love them. I feel like it's everything else. And then we watch Raw or SmackDown to watch them wrestle if they get chosen that week to go in the ring.
Yeah, but and not just the women and caring about the women, but I also think when we see with Roman Reigns, when WWE pushes something too hard down people's throats, they turn on it.
Yeah,
and they could easily. I
mean, time.
Rousey's name got booed last night already, and she hasn't even appeared on Raw or SmackDown yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that could be part of it too. I mean, you have that crowd in Philly. They're there. They see the appearance Sunday, and they might feel the same thing. They probably showed up at Raw and SmackDown.
Were they in Philly last night?
Yeah, fourth night in a row.
Okay, so okay, is this them pulling another Batista? The fans saying, "Oh no, we don't want this guy in the spotlight going in the Mania. F that." Okay, or is it just the Philly crowd?
Yeah, it could be
doing their thing.
It could be, but long term, we'll have to see. I mean, if she's doing the awkward pointing and her body language just doesn't resonate, it doesn't come across as natural.
Dude, hey, I went back, watched it again, you guys, because I wanted to tell you to go back and watch this. I wanted to make sure it happened though. All right, go back and watch her stuff on the Rumble, Ronda. Okay, watch how bipolar her character was. She went in there from. That's me pointing the WrestleMania sign, okay? To out of the ring. God damn it. Out of the ring, high-fiving all the fans. Which one is the real one is what I want to know.
And why did they have her
stick with just the pissy face?
Why did they have her give that interview to ESPN and not have a video package ready to go with her talking about, I'm here full time. This is my passion. This is what I want to do. Well,
they did show that in the video packages where they were showing the news clippings where it's saying she's full time.
But why didn't they have her do a backstage promo?
Right.
Cut an interview for WWE.
Right.
Talking about how excited she is to be joining the WWE, the women's evolution, all this stuff.
No, that's what we were saying. On Monday, I think they should have had a sit-down interview with Michael Cole and her or something that they could have shown on
good.
Raw, where they just taped it backstage after the Rumble. They do that with Brock all the time when they get one date, he shows up, and then they film some backstage stuff that they show the next week.
Yeah, but look, no one's gonna sit on their hands for if it's Ronda and The Rock versus Triple H and Stephanie at Mania. I think that
if it's The Rock, I mean, it'll be huge.
Yeah. It's what do they do if not that? How do they make it? That's the problem.
I think Braun again, who was it? Was it you that suggested it or Justin?
Justin. Yeah.
If it's Braun too, I think fans will react to that. But you need someone like that the fans will care about. So if she gets in the ring and is booed when she tags out, at least they're cheering.
Right. Yep.
Man, poor Sonya Deville. Like she's the one that's going to suffer the most from this. In having that sort of fighter.
And Sarah Logan, she's got the same gimmick.
Yeah, but Sonya, if they're both on Raw, Absolution is done. So, that was the other thing last night.
That could work. Why? Because they're MMA?
Yeah, I don't think you can have two of the same type on the same roster.
I think it could work, actually. I think it'll actually make the others look more legit if they get around or get an opportunity to eventually do something with Ronda, which I'm guessing they won't. But if they ever did, it helps to their legitimacy of what they do.
Yeah.
Speaking of Absolution, last night it was announced Goldust's replacement partner in the Mixed Match Challenge is going to be Mandy Rose.
Yeah, they look good in a photo together.
That promo was great when she did the little thing as well. Like that was, I thought, fantastic. I think forget Absolution, put them together full time. Give Goldust one last run.
I think these MMA, these Mixed Match Challenge promos they're fun, they're fine, but they don't make me want to see one team kick the other team's ass or anything.
And I want to know why the guy always gets neutered in all these promos. The male just they don't. I don't know.
I wonder if it's like since it's kind of a PR thing, they're doing this for charity. The women have picked up the win each week. So I don't know if it's one of those things where they're putting their best foot forward or something.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
The men are kind of nothing. Because when you think about that first week, you had Nakamura and Finn Balor on opposing teams. And that should have been a big deal. And it was...
Finn was doing... We didn't get on Finn enough because we love him. But Finn was doing corny-ass handshakes.
Yeah, I mean, they all are. They're baking cookies and
they were pantomiming in the ring together about their jackets.
Yeah.
Finn, I hate... Never mind.
It's a house show vibe, for better or worse.
It's turning the wrestlers from men into boys. And,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, 4 days of wrestling, guys.
And I'm looking. Hopefully, nothing huge breaks. I'm gonna try to get some sleep this weekend. Man, it's been a rough couple of weeks.
What do you think of the Mania 35 rumors out today? People claiming it's going to be New York.
I can see that easy. I mean, it was a huge success last time.
Is that bad? I don't ever care where it is, honestly.
I do. I mean, it helps me decide if I want to go or not. Like, I have no desire to go to New Orleans.
Oh, well, there you go.
I agree with you, Matt. Now that they always do it in a stadium, like back in the day when they didn't always do a stadium, then I felt like it mattered more because I always liked the stadium atmosphere. But now when they're just doing it in a stadium, it's kind of looks, they're going to do a cool set and cool graphics and all that stuff. So it really doesn't matter where it is. Yeah. And last time they did New York, remember they built a whole New York skyline. It was really cool.
It was. They're always cool. They get better.
Yeah. Last year was insane with that 6 mile ramp.
Roller coaster?
Yeah.
80-yard ramp.
Yeah. Crazy. It was, almost a football field. So it's I always worried that with WrestleMania being on the network, that they might cut down on things like the set because they have your money anyway. They don't feel like they need to spend all that extra money when you're not spending $80 per head now to watch it. Now you're spending 10, but they spare no expense. So good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shall see. So we'll be back here Monday night, right after Raw ends on the East Coast, to give a full recap. Man, thanks everyone for hanging with. A lot of podcasts this week with the Rumble and everything else. Matt, what do you want to plug before we take this home here?
Nothing. I am good. You guys know where to find me on Instagram and Twitter at BP Matt Morgan.
Raj, so nothing developing. You're going to go take a nap?
No, I got like 6 billion calls today and a couple of interviews. So you know, a bunch of stuff, but just keep checking out the site. It's been, I think we've had like 100 articles just since Monday. So
I can see it, man.
Yeah, it's insane.
I'm Glenn Rubenstein. You can find me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein, and we will be back here on Monday night to talk about Raw, maybe some progress with the Ronda stuff. We'll see what happens. Until next time, folks, I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and we'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.